The Doctor of Thugonomics hasn't been seen on WWE television since appearing at the Super Showdown event in Australia, where he teamed up with Bobby Lashley to take on and defeat both Elias and Kevin Owens. Cena was scheduled to wrestle at the Crown Jewel event, but pulled out due to the controversy surrounding the disappearance of Jamal Khashoggi. The champ, however, returned to WWE at the end of December, facing Baron Corbin at a WWE live event, with WWE announcing his return to television on Xmas Eve, where he'll be featured on both Raw and SmackDown Live. Sporting a tidier and more mature hairstyle, Cena returned on SmackDown Live to a decent reception from the Pittsburgh crowd. John Cena Layfield then addressed the fans, talking about his squash at Mania, living in China, his brand new hairstyle, and even mentioned his breakup with Nikki Bella. But why is he back? Before Cena could tell us his reason for returning, Becky Lynch's music hit and the man went down to the ring to confront the former 16-time champion. She mentioned how it's time for someone else to take over the WWE. Cena's time is done, and if he has a problem with that, Nikki Bella won't be the only one to drop him this year. Just after that fatal roasting, Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega would appear, dissing the pair, which eventually led to an unplanned tag match. Since this wasn't an intergender match, Lynch could only wrestle Vega and Cena could only wrestle Almas. But Lynch, being the badass she is, she still wanted a piece of Almas, forcibly tagging Cena in. After not being impressed by Cena's repertoire of 6 moves, Lynch had enough and simply tossed Cena out like an old Christmas tree, and got the win with an armbar on Vega. The sass continued even post-match, as Cena put his hand out to Lynch for a handshake, indicating a job well done. The Irish lass kicker gave him a "you can't see me" gesture in return. Why did WWE let their most protected superstar get owned? Well, we have 3 reasons why. Number 1. There will not be an intergender match between the two. Whether the opponent is male or female, Becky Lynch proves she doesn't cower to anyone in the ring. She even managed to get physical with her own tag partner, throwing him out of the ring with ease and even throwing down a challenge to the former world champ, which could have indicated an intergender match. WWE have aired a number of intergender matches in the past, including Chyna vs Chris Jericho during the Attitude Era, Beth Phoenix vs Santino Marella during a more PG era, Becky Lynch defeating James Ellsworth on SmackDown Live in 2017, and more recently the mixed tag match at WrestleMania 34, where Rousey managed to lock in her signature armbar on Triple H. Whilst WWE teased the idea that the two could have an intergender match, it might not be possible due to WWE promising the company that makes their toy line figures, Mattel, that their male wrestlers will never be seen to be overpowering WWE's women in a physical manner. Dave Meltzer also explained in a recent newsletter, WWE is very strict on men getting any physical moves in on women. Besides how it would play to a general public audience, and it really isn't worth it for them to do it, is that was a promise to Mattel years ago when the deal was first made, that they would never portray men physically overpowering women. Triple H also feels that there's no need for intergender matches anymore, and that they are purely there for shock value. In an interview with Sky Sports he mentioned, "They don't need that, and I think anybody that says, well, to have the man versus the woman, it's just shock value, you don't need it. I think when it's done right, there's an exciting moment when it can happen, but I don't mean to think that needs to be the standard." Number 2. John Cena is personally putting her over. In an interview promoting the release of the movie Bumblebee, Cena admitted to not even knowing who Lynch was until she expressed herself at SummerSlam and eventually touted herself to be the man, which seemingly put her on his radar. There are reports floating around that it was John Cena who personally requested to work with Lynch and not the other way round, taking notice of a potential to become one of the biggest superstars of this generation. After the show ended, John Cena was interviewed backstage, and despite being humiliated a number of times by the Irish lass kicker, he had nothing but good things to say about her. "You gotta announce your presence with authority. That's not the way I do things sometimes, but that's the way a young John Cena would have done it for sure. That's kinda why with all that stuff that happened out there, I thought I was doing good, and then I was thrown out of the ring by Becky, and she ended up getting the win. I would have done the same thing." And number 3, keeping her strong going into the Rumble. Whilst Becky Lynch would lose her title to Asuka at the TLC pay-per-view, that hasn't stopped WWE from keeping her strong in the ring. The 32nd annual Royal Rumble is just weeks away, and so far only a handful of participants have been confirmed for both Rumbles, Carmella being the only confirmed participant on the blue brand. Many more have yet to be confirmed, but the top favourite to win the Women's Royal Rumble, despite not even being confirmed, is Becky Lynch. Just a few weeks ago, a match between Women's Champion Asuka and Becky Lynch seemed to have been mistakenly announced by main event host Scott Stanford and confirmed by Paige on Twitter, but it was quickly taken off the card with a kayfabe reason. However, in reality, WWE possibly re-evaluated the card to make sure Lynch is in the Rumble, and Cena could have given the rub for this. It's clear that a Lynch vs Rousey match would be huge at WrestleMania, and winning the Rumble would be the way to set this up. What do you guys think? Would you like to see an intergender match between the two? Let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.